Hello, welcome to Star Wars Spelt Out. This is Josh Chapman speaking, and we're down in Lingatha. And when we're down in Lingatha, we head down to the Gullychaps studio. And when we head down to the Gullychaps studio, we get Cam Chapman in.
Hello.
And we get Daragh Wallace in as well.
Hey there.
We got the A-team, the ones that everybody loves. The creme de la creme.
By popular demand.
The Statler and Waldorf of the only sort of continual ones that we have two people on, apart from when I have Catherine and Andy on. So
we're the B team to the
you're the B team. You're the country. You're like the country B team. You're like the Australia A. You're like the Australia A of Star Wars podcasting.
Yeah.
But we're down in the studio. So how you guys going, guys? How you going, guys?
Yeah, going
You good?
Yeah.
Good.
Just kicking around.
Yeah, just down to see the family and stuff, and this timed well.
Halloween. Now we were going to record last night, but someone had to go to a Halloween party.
Yes, I was a zombie last night, out with a devil and another child. What the hell was she? She was a thing. I don't know. They're all things.
No Star Wars costumes.
There were actually. I was keeping an eye out for Star Wars costumes last night because I thought, there's got to be some. It's pretty recent. Solo's been out not that long ago. Not a shred of.
No
Solo
one was dressed as Woody
inside.
Harrelson from Solo.
No, I saw one awesome one was kid in a wheelchair who strapped on.
Oh, that's awesome. That's
strapped on TIE fighter wings.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
And had his dad was a stormtrooper.
It wasn't just some
around the
kid
place.
dressing up as a kid in a wheelchair.
That would be less cool. Yeah,
Because that was at Coal Creek. So explain what Coal Creek is.
Coal Creek is one of those dinky historical village type.
Like a small
things.
Sovereign Hill.
Yeah,
Bruce.
yeah, it is. It's Sovereign Hill Light or.
What's a Sovereign Hill now?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's just like Ye Olde Town.
The oldie town.
That's exactly what it is. From an old coal mining town.
I always
basically.
thought it had some dire years, and I thought should have been turned into paintball. Like
It would be
old West
amazing.
paintball. It'd be like 6 shooters, big bucket hats.
You could write a letter to the council and suggest that.
Oh, I'd be. If
They should just do that one day a month.
I'd get
Yeah.
trashed.
Yeah, you could do the laser version.
Cowboy lasers.
Yeah.
It'd be like cowboys and aliens.
Yeah, right.
Underrated film.
Yeah, well, Jon Favreau, that's on brand. So that's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, there you go.
There you go. They bring it back. So it was all right, pretty good setup. So
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty busy.
did you see our old man
Yes, there was
playing
a
there?
Sweet band.
Sweet band there. Fossil Fuel, mine and Cam's dad's band was playing there.
100% bangers.
100% all killer, no
The
filler.
irony was they're called Fossil Fuel, and it's at Coal Creek.
Coal
That
Creek,
was the,
yeah.
Yeah,
So they're not carbon neutral.
not at all.
I think it's more just because they're old guys. So I was just trying to think of the last time. It's been a few months since we had you guys on. And we had Cam's Fever Dream episode. We did that one.
Do we do the Lando things as well?
Yeah,
Is
we
that
did the
just-
Lando thing. So I think it was post-Solo, I think.
Yeah.
Was the last
I'd
one
just
that we
seen
did it.
Solo.
Daragh had just seen Solo.
Yeah.
And then we got into your episode, your new Star Wars sequel,
Oh, yeah. Which is
The dude in space.
which was essentially the dude in space.
Dude in Space.
People seem to like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, bits happened since then. So just going off news and stuff, how are you guys feeling about where Star Wars is at the moment? Feel like it's going the right way, or
Oh, yeah. I think it's just the lull before the pick up again.
I'm keen for the Favreau TV show.
so
that's
that's been
top
the
of my
Mandalorian.
list.
Have you watched Resistance at all?
Yeah, I've watched it. It's
What
good.
about-
I
Yeah.
like it.
I
all right.
had a look at the first 2 episodes I think I got through. It's all right. Like it's
Is what it is.
Yeah, it's definitely for kids, and it's solid at what it is.
Not enough swears and nudity for you, Daragh.
Exactly. Game of Thrones that up.
Not that Star Wars ever has nudity and swears
Wow.
anyway.
Well, eventually they're going to run out of ideas. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
they're not like
It'd be
Star
like
Wars
Marvel have their
After
Deadpool.
Dark.
They'll have a
Yeah, they'll do like an
An
R-rated
R-rated
Star
bloody-
Wars.
Yeah. I'm hanging out.
What behind the curtain of Jar Jar's? Oh, not
Jabba's palace.
Jabba's palace.
Yeah.
The real nasty.
All the
stuff.
real nasty.
All the green dancing chicks.
Yeah, everything that goes behind the curtain. You know, like that bit when Princess Leia rescues Han, and she she defrosts him from carbonite. You know, and then the laugh comes like, oh, he's like, and they just pull a curtain and like everybody is just behind this curtain. There's like 50 Muppets all standing.
Real creepy.
Yeah, they're all just like, shh.
Has someone done that? A YouTuber that? Or just like the 5 minutes before they rock up, they're all just there like,
and she's just like,
God, Jabba, oh, jeez.
She's pushing the ear. It's like, it's like, shut up,
You ruined it.
That's pretty good, actually. We get time, we can do that one. Yeah, because in the background you can see that they've got like the hand, like C-3PO's got the hand over the mouth. So they're trying to kind of make sure C-3PO shuts up. But like, why would you even bring him out? Like, just put him away somewhere.
Yeah.
So they all knew in enough time that she was coming.
Well, I guess they got to translate it straight away. Like, we got you.
Yeah, so they had to have him there.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make any sense. The more I think about the less
it's stranger that even grown adults would hide behind
like a curtain.
A curtain and wait
for however long, because it's all like
let alone aliens.
They could have been there for hours, because that would have had to been enough time for. Like, Leia shows up, sells Chewbacca, and she's in disguise, and they're all like, "Oh, we've got a deal. Let's all party." And everyone's like, "Woo, let's all party." So there must have been a point where Leia's like, "All right, well, I'm off to bed, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your party." She couldn't have been the last. She would have had to leave early, so they can go like, "Is she gone? Is she gone? Okay, she's gone. All right, everybody get behind that curtain, because she's gonna let Princess Leia. She's gonna let her.
It's like the 3-year-old pretending to sleep, and they're like,
yeah.
Makes you think of office parties. It's like the HR managers come around. All right, guys, this is going to be great fun.
Everybody's got to be in it. Don't ruin it. Yeah. The more I think about that,
just like, jeez.
Again, Sharon.
That's pretty nifty of Jabba. I guess he figured as soon as Chewbacca, as soon as this is like, hey, I know. That's Chewbacca. That's Han Solo's friend.
Yeah.
You don't think I'm going to be suspicious the moment you bring Han Solo's best friend in here that something's up?
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense, man. I didn't get to where I am.
They've done the fake captive of Chewbacca trick like multiple times.
Yeah, every movie
they've already done it about 4 times. I think the whole galaxy knows by now.
It's like anytime Chewbacca shows up in shackles, don't trust whoever's bringing him in, because they're likely in cahoots.
Double check those handcuffs.
Get the bloody elephant dart gun, or just take him down for the stuff.
And he calls him the mighty Chewbacca, so he knows what he's about. He knows what he's about. Yeah. Well, there you go. Good times. Yeah, so things are kind of rolling along. So Mandalorian, that's what we know.
Yeah. I kind of wish it wasn't that, but I think Favreau will do something good with it.
So I think somebody I saw online quite recently, somebody asked Kathy Kennedy what was going on with Boba Fett movie, because I think they were going to do a Boba Fett movie a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And she's just like, no, it's not on the cards. We're not really looking into that. So they're putting all their Boba Fett stock into the Mandalorian.
It makes sense. They'd step on each other's toes too much.
I mean, they might even put Boba Fett in it. Who knows?
He's just, he's cameo material anyway, I think.
Just walking on in the background.
You want to keep him cool. You only want bits and pieces.
Yeah, he's got to say nothing and do nothing and look cool. That's his job.
The more he talks, you're like,
it's Tamara Morrison. It's Korg from Thor. Hey, how's it going? Hey, oh, you got a pretty choice palace here, eh? It's my attempt at a bad New Zealand accent.
Oh yeah.
Everybody does. Everybody's got one. So I don't know. It looks like it'll be cool. It looks like it'll be pretty fan servicey. I don't think it's going to be super groundbreaking or anything. I think it's just going to be pretty. I mean, who knows? We'll have to wait till we see something. But
yeah, as long as it's all like, it's going to be Game of Thrones like quality, that sort of thing. Yeah.
I think production values it will be. I think that's like $100 million or something they're spending on it. Yeah. So it's going to be, well, obviously the outlay is the upfront, because they'll go, if we spend $100 million upfront, we get 4 seasons out of that spaceport set. We don't have to build it every year.
Yeah.
We build it up front, and then they should just shoot it all at Star Wars land that they're building. They should just, and then they can just be like, well, then if the show goes to the toilet, we can just stick a roller coaster on it or something like that, and people can still ride it.
They got enough Tatooine sets kicking around.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I mean, it looks like it's Tatooine, doesn't it? But don't know.
Oh, well, they just go back of California somewhere.
Yeah.
all those Western. They've got
All
like
those
it's like they've always got the Middle Eastern set that they use on every movie.
Yeah, like the New York city street kind of thing.
They've got the same sets for like out of the desert and stuff. They use for everything.
Yeah, no need to go.
That and the Western, and
yeah, no need to go to North Africa.
Tatooine type 1 thing, if it was even Tatooine.
Yeah, I don't know. Like it's a desert planet.
Deserty,
I don't know.
Deserty planet.
Could be Jakku.
Could be Jakku. Could be any of those kind of things.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is we're going to have a little bit different this time that we've got everybody here. What we're going to do is that we're actually going to sit down and watch the Star Wars Holiday Special and come back onto the mics and have a little bit of chat about what we saw. Now, we're not going to watch the whole thing because it's 2.5 hours long or 2 hours long. So what we're going to do is we're going to watch about the first 10, 15 minutes of it and basically just get an initial gauge our reactions of what we think we've seen.
Yeah, I've never seen it, so...
Really?
No.
Oh,
Have you
are
seen
in
it?
for a treat. Many moons ago, I had
Do you have a
got it,
VHS?
And no.
And I saw
Found
it.
it in the way you find these things.
I saw it on television on the one day it's
Dark web.
when it screened in Australia. I saw it on television when we were living at Hassett Street.
Before George Lucas personally
They screened it in like
parachuted into the
I remember they
studio and
screened it
cut
in
off
like
the feed.
a Saturday afternoon or something like in like 1984 or something. I just remember it being on television because I remember the cartoon. It's going, why is some weird Star Wars thing on television? And then I think it was like the middle of the day. And I think Mum was just like, why is the television on a Saturday afternoon? Turn the television off. So I only saw about 10 minutes of it until it was like, it's Star Wars, it's on television, that never happens.
You could have watched the whole thing and then never watched Star Wars again.
I know that could have killed off Star Wars. Well, that's, we're going purely off reputation here and not, it might be the best thing ever.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
So
it might be.
all right. So we're gonna take a little intermediate break here for a minute, and then we're gonna time travel. We're gonna watch it, and then we'll come right back.
Yep.
All right.
Sweet.
See ya. All right, and we're back. You can tell we're back because there's some sort of lawn mowing or
high pressure hosing.
High pressure hosing
That's
going
what you do around here. I
of the
guess.
neighbours. That's what you do if you're not using your Sunday afternoon to watch the Star Wars Holiday Special. So we actually got about 25 minutes in the end, didn't we? We fast forwarded a couple of little bits.
Yeah.
But first impressions, Cam?
Dear God, is it just? How did that get approved? That's what. What do you know the story? Is it just? Did George have anything to do with it, or was he obligated or something? Or
I don't think he was obligated. I think it was just like it was a phenomenon. Somebody offered him a ton of money to do it, or
yeah, it's probably.
and
like
I think he was just like, yeah, all right, and I guess he was. Yeah, I guess he was. I don't know. I'd have to read the Wikipedia about it.
It must have been agreed to before the movie was successful.
It might have been tied to some sort of like, hey, we'll put Star Wars on television, but we reserve rights to make specials
Some
or
piece of shit.
yeah, I don't know, because it's the thing that's the most crazy is that they got like all the actors. They got like Harrison Ford. I guess they were stars, but they're only stars off the back of Star Wars by then.
Maybe
so.
it was filmed before it. Yeah, maybe it was filmed before it was released or something. Maybe.
No, it must have been afterwards because you wouldn't have bothered making it if it wasn't popular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, people who've heard this special, we'll sort of recap what we saw anyway, but it basically, it starts off with all the thing that I noticed right away is they don't even use the same fonts or the same, they have a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, but it's not even the same font, and even the Star Wars logo is all messed up. Daragh, you're a designer as well. That must have given you the...
Yeah, that's hard to look at. It's just like, someone's done it properly.
But someone would have
to redo it.
Someone would have to
badly.
go out of their way to redo it badly to put it in, rather than to actually just do it. Like, that's the thing that's weird. Like, wouldn't you just use the one that's been used 1,000 times? Because they're stealing footage because they steal a bunch of footage from the actual movie.
Yeah,
We're just
they've got access to Lucasfilm somehow.
Yeah, just stick the start of the thing in there. But yeah, so that was a bit weird. And then you have your little titles of like, hey, you've got Harrison Ford and Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher and R2D2 playing R2D2.
And the kids and the the Chewie's family. It's a thing of nightmares.
Yeah, so the weird thing is that they've actually got like, you know, the Chewie suit is the Chewie suit.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's the one they've actually put a bit of money into.
The grandpa looks closer relative to, say, Predator than a Wookiee, I reckon, that face.
Yeah,
How it's like bottom lip comes up.
They've got some like Yeti costume for him. Just, that'll do. We'll make it the grandpa.
yeah.
It doesn't even look.
It looks a bit weird, doesn't it? And then they don't even really look. I mean, I guess they look like Wookiees a little bit, but they don't.
The kid and the mum's all right, I guess. In some
so what did you say about Chewie's wife when she came on the screen?
Carl. Well, did I say he could have done a bit better?
That was it.
That's right.
It's just like, hey, he's Chewbacca. He's arguably the most famous Wookiee going around.
You
And,
know.
it might have been high school sweethearts, and he's stuck with it.
You don't know what the beauty standards for Wookiees are.
Yeah, that's
Maybe
right. She could be the hottest.
Well, he's how he's 180 or something.
true.
Anyway,
So she's looking pretty good, unless he's gone real younger.
Yeah,
It could be second.
70.
It could be second wife.
maybe it's like the family, like there's those dudes who have secret families they don't tell anyone about.
He's got a secret family in
And
Canada.
somehow they got it out of Chewie.
Yeah, that's like, it's not even his first family. It's like, I show up for holidays and that's it, really.
Yeah.
For the rest of the time, I'm actually with my actual family.
Yeah, geez.
And then Luke and Han found out, so I have to kind of tell them that that's my real family. And now
Now they
I
have
got
to call
a
in.
secret family from these people and a secret family.
Chewie's like, guys, can you please just call in? Just like do me a solid.
Yeah, come
remember I
on.
saved your life. that one
Yeah,
time?
just pretend you don't know where I am. So they basically start off strong, and it's just like, there's like Star Destroyers, and it's all footage that's just been lifted from Star Wars.
Yeah, and
Han and
Harrison
Chewie
Ford's
in the
giving it a bit of a go.
He's gonna, I know, Chewie, come on, he's trying a little bit.
Yeah.
But they're in like a very budget version of the Millennium Falcon cockpit. It doesn't. It's not the proper one from the film.
Yeah, I didn't focus enough on that.
Yeah, I don't think they had. I don't think there was a permanent set for that, so they've just kind of recreated a couple of chairs with a cardboard box in front of it.
It's very 1970s TV standard.
Yeah,
All of the sets and stuff.
but I
Well,
mean,
it's like the same as Chewie's home. It's basically someone's lounge room with a different lamp.
quite
Like,
spacious.
it was
looking.
Yeah, it was a nice lounge room. Don't get me wrong, but it was really just like that's my next door neighbour's house
with a space lamp in it.
with a space lamp.
Yeah, and then it's just really weird seeing like that they've obviously just gone, we'll just put that armchair there, or we'll just there's just this stuff that's
The
just
lazy boy.
Yeah, there's just like stuff that's just come out of somebody's like you said, like your 70s lounge room, like your grandma's lounge room.
You know,
or
it's like
something.
the what is it called? The what's the fam? Oh, Jesus Christ! The Brady Bunch house. It's like one of the
Yeah.
from the movie designs the same house.
Yeah.
like it was pretty much the same. Yeah, it was the Brady Bunch house essentially.
Yeah, so you made a good point, Daragh, because we did. Admittedly, we kind of skipped ahead a couple of the things, but we actually sat through the first 10 minutes of the Wookiee thing. And what did you say? There's no
subtitles on that bit, and it's not an accident.
Yeah.
They didn't think that anyone needed to know what 10 minutes of dialogue between three Wookiees actually was.
Yeah, and there's like no English at all. Although there's a bit where Chewie's wife, is it Marla or whatever? She's scanning. She puts up a TV scanning, and it has like space traffic control. So they actually have like
All of the text is in English, which I don't think English text exists.
no.
in
I think they've
regular Star
replaced it
Wars.
with Arabic or Arabic. There is like
The
a
Star Wars language.
there's like like Star Wars alphabet or whatever.
Yeah.
But
But the one place you get English is on
Wookiee's house.
Chewie's family computer.
They're Atari.
they bought it off World. They might have bought it from someone. So there's no English. So essentially, there's like the son. And now I asked the question: Is it a kid in that suit, or is it a little person?
I'm betting it's a kid. But
I think it might be a
A
little
circus
person.
performer,
I think
I
he's a
reckon.
bit too bulky. Like I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I just sort of
That could be all in the suit.
Yeah, it could be.
If only there was some way to find out.
If only it was
Everyone's on Wikipedia right now as they listen to this go, I know the answer, you idiot.
Yeah, just look it up. It's right there.
I studied the Christmas special.
I did my thesis on it. I've got a doctorate in Star Wars holiday specials.
Oh, God.
So,
And then the kids out in the balcony, bloody walking along.
yeah, he decides to leave the
They
thing.
don't have child locks in the bloody Wookiee house.
Well, how old is he supposed to be? This is the thing. The Wookiee aging thing's weird. If Chewie's like
He's probably like
180,
35.
he just won't move out.
Just when he's a millennial.
He's just a massive stoner, and that's why it stunted his growth. They're like, we try to leave the front window open so maybe he'll jump out and fall to his death, or at least learn some
There
responsibility.
was a moment where we thought Grandpa was going to snap his neck.
Yeah, it's like, this is the famous Wookiee rips your arms off moment.
Yeah, so he, for some inadvertent reason, he gets out and starts climbing on the balcony out the front, and then they just sort of cut back, and he just walks back in afterwards.
Yeah,
So there isn't like he has any real purpose of doing that. And then then sort of Chewie's wife goes over to the cupboard and picks out a promotion photo of Chewbacca, which looks like it's like
a
from
baseball card.
Yeah, like
shot.
his baseball card. He's not there. It's not a photo of Chewie with his family or anything. It's just like it's his passport photo.
It's his actor photo.
It's his headshot.
His headshot. Yeah. He just gives it to all his
You are family.
Wookiee women.
He just signed it, all the best, Chewbacca.
Yeah, not even.
So that's
not
what
even named.
What's what happened is that she went to a signing where Chewbacca was doing something and it was like, "Here's your son." 12 months later, it was like, have this headshot photo, and I'm out of here.
That's the running joke in the crew to give him a call. And
So then she sort of laments that Chewie's not coming back, and is it Life Day?
Life Day.
So that's
Don't call
essentially
it Christmas. It's Life Day.
Yeah. So it's essentially their Christmas.
it's
all
like
there.
George Costanza's dad.
It's Festivus for Wookiees.
essentially.
Well, I think, or I don't know if it's a Wookiee only thing, or if it's a galaxy wide kind of. I don't know. It seems like they're the only ones who give a shit.
There's literally 4 people in the galaxy who celebrate this.
Yeah, because we stop in with Luke Skywalker a bit later, and it's not like he's rushing off to Life Day, but he was like, "Hey man, my parents are dead, and my uncle aunt are dead. I ain't celebrating Life Day. Life Day
with a robot.
Yeah, and I blew up a space station that killed tens of thousands of people. I can't really be seen to be enjoying Life Day. It's probably a little hypocritical. So we basically Lumpy puts on the dad gets like a
Lumpy's the kid.
Lumpy's the kid.
That yet.
Not the shit on their
itchy. He's got dags like he's a sheep. Yeah. He's got to be dagged at the back. Look that up if you don't know what it is. He basically gets out like a space DVD or cassette deck or whatever and puts it into the table.
A cassette, yeah.
Puts it into the table, and then we get some kind of space juggling.
Yeah, I think it's just juggling. You can put space in front of it, and I'm sure they did in the script, but it's just jugglers.
Oh, it was pure filler,
circus.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think it's all filler, no killer, really.
Yeah.
I feel like someone had signed them up to be on one of the Tonight shows or something. They
got bumped.
They missed their slot.
They got bumped for Peter Falk, who played Columbo or something like that, and it's like,
we'll get you in. We'll just film it and then we'll put it on sometime.
Just put this orange shit on your face, and then
and some tights.
Yeah.
So the production design, is this sort of weird cross between sort of Star Wars established designs, which is sort of the lived-in universe, and sort of disco.
Yeah. Oh, disco.
It must have been still 79, was it? Or
78.
78.
78.
Yeah, so it's right after.
So it's basically in between shooting Empire. So it's probably right before they started shooting Empire Strikes Back.
Jeez. Gosh.
Yeah.
And so everyone's in this kind of like disco kind of, so there's the dancing and things, and then we skip to a bit where the grandpa puts on a virtual reality helmet or he's in some kind of like virtual reality booth.
And things get weird.
And then there's a sort of a disco diva.
He's got a thing for human chicks.
For human disco chicks with... she looked like she'd sort of come out of Studio 54 or Starlight Express or something.
I'm sure she's
that was definitely
she's probably
porn,
from Bonnie M or
right?
something. I don't know.
It was
one of those.
She's like a disco diva.
Disco queen. Yeah.
And then she was kind of going... hey, I know you're my fantasy, and
Yeah.
and he just I didn't.
He's just in the lounge room.
Yeah,
doing
he's
that.
the guy. Like we just have to leave him. It's all a one room house. I don't know where. That seems to be like there's an upstairs, but
Chewie's wife's there, and Chewie's dad's just like.
I
in
think
the lounge
Wookiees
room.
are just so enlightened. They're just
they're just like,
chill
hey,
with sex
he's
and
like, I'm
stuff.
old. I don't care.
Yeah.
You can move for me.
Yeah, just
No wonder
chucks porn
that
on. You
no wonder Lumpy likes to hang around and walk on the rails and things. He's just going, if I'm lucky, I'll fall to my death and snap my neck, and I won't have to live through this anymore.
I've seen too much.
I've seen too much. So look, let's be honest. We didn't watch the whole thing, but we basically did fast forward to Mark Hamill. So he was. They kind of pulled out. They pulled a bookshelf to one side, and there seemed to be a secret television connect to the.
A Skype, yeah.
Yeah, so maybe that's like the secret connect to the rebels, or Chewie's just put that there. Is
Oh, okay, yeah.
So maybe that's why it's a
pick that
secret.
up.
You just reckon-
Oh,
just- you just keep your TV behind the bookshelf, do you?
Yeah, that's
never
that's the
realised.
best place to watch it.
It felt like too much thought for that special. But
Yeah, so essentially then we caught up with Mark Hamill, who's looking a little...
Car crashy.
yeah, yeah.
Is that it?
like
So-
Michael.
So the story being that he got involved in a car accident and had some facial scarring and stuff, and basically which is why he gets attacked by the Wampa at the start of Empire,
Yeah.
to sort of establish why he's got the cuts on his face. But since this takes place before The Empire Strikes Back, Luke's got to look like he's just stepped off the podium getting his medal, basically. So he's caked in about 5 inches of makeup.
Yeah, it's 100% spackle. On
Kind
his
of reminded
face.
me of Marty McFly's mum when they go back. And all that.
Yeah, everything's
But
just too smooth.
The
Yeah.
thing about it, like the makeup is weird, but the hair is weirder. It's
Yeah.
the haircut that makes him look weirder because he's
Yeah.
got this weird kind of bowl cut going on. He looks blonder as well.
And he
Yeah.
looks 12, yeah.
And he's kind of staring at the camera like he's sort of staring down the barrel of this thing, just sort of like he's... Yeah.
Like he's gotten into Carrie Fisher's secret stash.
Yeah, well, we'll get to Carrie here. We'll get to Carrie. And it's a funny thing is, like, people kind of go, oh, Harrison Ford didn't want to be there. It's like Harrison seems to be putting in a little bit more, or maybe not effort. At least he seems closer to character than the others.
That's the most effort he's put in
Ever.
yeah.
You can understand why he wouldn't want to be there. God. Jeez.
Yeah, God, could you imagine having to tell Harrison? We're just like, oh, Harrison, he's probably hasn't done. He wouldn't have done Raise of the Lost Ark yet, but he would have been, big news after
Well,
stuff.
he wanted
And
to.
he'd done stuff before, so you'd be like, "Oh, Harrison, how are you?" He's like, "Oh, yeah, okay." It's like, so we need you to come down to CBS Studios for a day or two, and we're gonna shoot this thing for television for Star Wars, and we're gonna have all these different performers like B. Arthur from the Golden Girls and Jefferson Starship, and we're gonna need you to. Yeah, it's gonna be a couple of days' work. And you're gonna have to be in costume, and there'll be lines.
As soon as you say B. Arthur, you're in, right?
Yeah, that's right. So we didn't get to the end. Apparently, we might revisit another time, and we'll do the rest of it. But apparently, at the end, they all get back together, and Carrie Fisher sings a song at the end. And Harrison Ford is apparently standing there looking like he wanted to be absolutely anywhere else in the world. Maybe we should have jumped ahead and watched that, but we'll save that. We'll get to that. We'll do this in increments.
I'm guessing that was the moment where Harrison Ford started saying, Han should really be killed off at some point.
Yeah, this is
Can
what
we
it
kill
takes.
Han off?
I don't care if it takes another 35 years. I'm going to have to do it. But so essentially, so back to Mark Hamill. Him and R2 are working on some kind of. Did you get the feeling that he was working on some kind of smoky thing because they were trying to hide his face more? The last bit of it, like the whole engine he's working on starts smoking everywhere.
You don't see him used very much, but every X-Wing has a smoke machine on board. Just
Yeah.
as an impromptu disco breaks out. And they were really testing that thing out.
Yeah, they were. And it was sort of just, he was going, all right, well, let's just try to obscure Mark Hamill's face, even though we've just had him stare directly in the camera for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So I think, we've already freaked out the viewers. But I don't know why he's in his flight suit if he's doing maintenance.
He's only got 2 pairs of clothes.
Yeah,
he's got Jedi robes and he's got a
Flight
flight
suit,
suit. That's
yeah.
it.
He had that little like gold jacket that he wore when he got his medal, but he might have borrowed that from somebody.
Yeah.
He's not that stylish, Luke. He's just
No, he's kind of
someone would have dressed him.
he's kind of just getting around in farm rags and all that kind of business. So we got a bit of Luke and a little bit of R2, and then we essentially sort of jumped forward a little bit and got a little bit of Carrie Fisher, Princess Leia, who was pretty happy to be there. It seemed she was.
She seemed up for it.
She seemed up for it. So we already kind of know all the stories that she was sort of enjoyed having a good time and a bit of a party.
Glazed, especially in the first introduction. It was like this kind of
I thought
2 seconds that felt like.
I thought that they'd
5 minutes.
frease framed, but it was actually her just sort of staring off into the middle distance.
Carrie.
Yeah, with this sort of grin on her face. But I mean, I guess she probably had to sit through the same meetings that Harrison Ford had to, and she's just like, all right, well, my contract says that I can't get out of this, so I'm just going to make the most of a bad situation.
Hanging out with the crew just doggy bags. And
Yeah, she's like, oh,
get it through it.
I've just been hanging out with the Rolling Stones for the last couple of days or something, or I've been around at John
been up
Belushi's
for
house.
48
I've been
hours.
out at John Belushi's house for the last week and a half, and this is where I'm at.
That's real actor's preparation there.
So is that the worst Star Wars thing that you've seen? Can you think of anything worse? I mean, coming directly from Lucasfilm involvement with, like I've seen some pretty bad like fan films and all that kind of stuff like that, that kind of stuff on the internet and things. But and plenty of crappy podcasts, this one included. But as far as something with the actual actors and stars and things,
I just felt sorry for them.
It's a train wreck. It's worth watching just once. Maybe at like 1.5 speed.
Yeah, look, to be perfectly honest, we didn't. We're on a tight schedule here, so we didn't have time to sit through the whole thing. But I mean, we only, like you said, we got 10 minutes in, and Cam just goes, "Can we start fast forwarding this?"
It was it just kept going.
It's weird because like Daragh and I have seen bits of it before, so I felt like we were kind of in on the joke, and I think Cam got the impression that maybe we were trolling you or something, or that we'd given you some weird version thing that we were in on a joke or something.
I wish I hadn't seen the like Chewie's dad. That's just like that's scarred in the brain now. I think
He's probably
but
dead by now.
it makes me. It makes me love the episode 2 when they actually go to the Wookiee planet. Like
episode 3.
Awesome! Episode 3. Sorry.
Yeah.
How awesome that is, and that's how they.
That's what
It's
Wookiees are
exactly
like.
what it would be like. More, not like a bloody Californian bungalow, more like an actual bloody.
Well, I think part of where the holiday special came from was George Lucas wanted to do a Wookiee-only movie. He wanted to do a Wookiee spin-off.
Oh, okay.
And that idea ended up as the holiday special.
So someone just said, "We'll give you Star Wars. We'll give you some money to do your Wookiee thing, George." Well, there's that concept art which looked like proper Star Wars. Essentially, there's a piece of concept art which is like the Wookiee house, and then they just use it as an establishing shot, and then they kind of use it in some slightly shonky special effects as well.
And that house, I guess, probably turned into the Ewok house up in the trees.
Yeah,
Ewoks.
Well, Ewoks became Wookiees were going to be in Return of the Jedi. Originally, they were going to be.
They were going to be.
But it was basically the problem was that he'd kind of established that Wookiees are a bit more technologically advanced.
Okay.
So he's like, well, I can't really, because they wouldn't just be.
He wanted
be sticks and
He wanted
things.
the primitive.
Yeah, they weren't primitive enough. We can see that Chewie can fly the Falcon, knows his way around, and they've got virtual reality sex machines, and they've got sliding bookshelves.
Well advanced past our technology.
Yeah, exactly. They're further ahead than we are.
Interspecies.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, anything goes.
They're that progressive.
Yeah, they're massively progressive. Chewie's got like a bunch
When will we get there, Daragh?
I'm there. I'm already there.
Yeah, it's not great, but it's good that I think because for years before pre-internet, I'd sort of heard about it a little bit and stuff, and it was always someone had a VHS of a VHS of a VHS, and it's sort of a thing that was kind of probably more legendary and urban myth because not many people could see it now, and I feel like it actually lives up to its terribleness.
I think I don't know. I've only watched 15 minutes, but it didn't give you anything. Do you know what I mean? Like it didn't give you like one bit where you're like, oh yeah,
That's kind of cool.
Like a bit of like when you watch Rebels or something, they have like little kind of like, oh, that's where the B-wing came from or whatever. You know, you go, ah.
Well, we didn't get to the Boba Fett cartoon. Which is
Yeah, I
the
think
first
we'll
appearance
save.
of Boba Fett.
We're going to save that, and we'll come back to. And that always seems to be the thing that people take away from it and go, "Oh well, it's the first introduction of Boba Fett." And we saw like a little still of it, and it looks a bit like Boba Fett and stuff. But again,
Still pretty rubbish.
It's still pretty rubbish. I mean, yeah, like people complain that Star Wars has lost its way.
Does he have a voice in the cartoon?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know if it's the same. I don't know if it's the same
George
voice.
gone back and changed.
He's put New Zealand. He's put
back on the internet.
George doesn't make changes to this one. If you watch the whole holiday special, it's like The Ring. George will turn up at your house and kill you 7 days later.
if you make it to the end. Yeah, I think. That was the thing. Like back in the day, you could wash your hands of these things and just pretend they didn't happen because that would never got aired again. He's like, well, never air it again. Okay, well, I said never air it again, and that'll be the last we ever hear of it. And it's like, nah, man, nah, man. That's pre-internet world now. It gets out. Like even when it was on a VHS, the thing you still had to go to a convention or know somebody who had it and things, and that was the quality, the broadcast quality of it wasn't terrible. It looked just like a TV
I
of the
can see
70s.
how, it is
regular.
just all the shows that you watch before Christmas, like Ernest and,
Ernest Goes to Holiday Special.
Mr. Bean Christmas, but, those type of shows.
But at least the thing is, Mr. Bean they show every year because essentially Mr. Bean's still pretty funny. Yeah. And the thing about Mr. Bean is the reason he's so popular is because there's no talking. It plays everywhere. Yeah. Like it's all physical comedy. Yeah. But they tried to have no speaking. I don't think you could play the Wookiee the first 10 minutes of the holiday special anywhere in the world. People would throw their televisions out the window.
It's a weird balance because it's like 10 minutes of Wookiee, and then they'll call Leia or Luke, and then it's like 5 minutes of exposition. Yeah, and then back to another 10 minutes of Wookiee. Is just get your balance right.
I know, and every now and then they tease you because they put a little bit of footage from Star Wars, and there's a Star Destroyer, or there's something slightly cool that happened for a second, and then you're like, now we're just back to the, like you said, the bungalow, the
domestic bliss,
the domestic bliss bungalow.
Why Chewie's never home.
Yeah, that's right. It's just like this scene's too real, man.
It's too real. This poor broken family.
I've got to get out of here.
Yeah. So the kid's acting up. He's growing up without a father.
Yeah, no, without a father.
So when Solo came out in the trailer, because he sort of rescues a couple of Wookiees from the mining thing.
Yeah.
And in the trailer, there's a bit. They showed a moment where they put a little head nod to get like a little hug because there's just that little moment where because Chewie decides to go back off with Han. I remember at the time when it came out, people were like, "Oh, is that his wife? Is he rescuing his? Are they making Chewie's wife canon again?" But as it stands, I don't think that's the case.
Probably not worth.
So offering up all the questions.
You don't want to draw it. Yeah. You don't want people like, so it fits in with the Christmas movie. What Christmas movie?
And then the other one comes up. Yeah, I don't think they'll ever get a special edition or an official release or something. They should.
I always thought that Wookiee looked a bit weird anyway in the hands.
They should do it. They should just do the before Episode 9 comes out, they should just do the Star Wars sequel trilogy holiday special. And they basically, they have to get Daisy Ridley and Oscar Isaac and Adam Driver. Could you imagine getting Adam Driver, talking about Harrison Ford not wanting to be there. You go tell Adam Driver that he's got to go do the Force Awakens Episode 9 Christmas special.
They should, Saturday Night Live sketch, essentially.
Somebody wrote, it was...
if someone actually wanted to write it.
I really don't want to be here. They make him sing. You're like, well, you're Princess Leia's son. You've got to, So who would you? All right. So if you're doing the episode 9,
what band would you get?
Well, this is the thing. What band would you get?
Oh God.
Who?
Flaming Lips or something like that.
Yeah, but they're too good. It'd have to be someone who's. Jefferson Starship.
Starship. They were pretty big.
Well, that's what I mean. It'd have to be somebody quite big, and they're a bit. It'd have to be like
of the moment.
Coldplay, maybe. Or the Red Hot Chili Peppers, they'd probably do it. They did the Krusty comeback special. They could probably do the, and then you get, you get local celebrities, and I guess it'd be people who are on the TV channel and stuff. So you could probably get like Charlie Sheen or who else? I don't know enough American things. So
I wouldn't pursue it.
Yeah, I just think they should just never do that again.
I don't think it's an opportunity.
I'm surprised there's not someone at Lucasfilm
pitching that.
No, no. Just constantly on YouTube trying to
Flag it.
Yeah.
flag it.
I think it's just a level of acceptance now. I think they're just a
it's
bit
out
like,
there.
oh, look, it's part
Don't
of the.
fight it, yeah.
Yeah, I think there's sometimes like some of their promotional stuff or on their online things and like the Star Wars show. I think they just make fun of
Yeah.
it. Oh, not make fun of it. They just accept that it's part of the history of the
I think they
franchise.
should send a link to every little whiny shit who gets on the net and goes, oh, they made a woman the lead of this one. And, yeah, no, we've done worse stuff. Watch
Yeah,
the
we'll
holiday
do it
special.
again.
Yeah,
We'll do it again.
Yeah.
We've got the Red Hot Chili Peppers phone number.
No, the standard of the new stuff's pretty bloody good.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Look at this thing.
We've got the itchy suit out the back.
Yeah.
Oh, you think diversity in our cast is bad? Wait till you see this.
Oh, dear. Well, I think we've kind of covered everything that we can cover on that. So, we'll start wrapping up really. But any closing thoughts on that one, guys? Do you feel a need to go back and watch the rest? I feel like we probably, we won't do it now, but I think we've got this little bit of content that we can come back to in the future.
Maybe.
Are you just like, I'm quite happy to podcast, but I don't want to have to sit through that.
We'll watch the Boba Fett cartoon at least.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that. That's probably the only thing I would.
All right. Well, why don't we, when The Mandalorian comes out, we'll
Great
Great
that's
call.
good.
we'll do that. So that gives you a couple of months to watch.
It's actually making me more excited about new stuff. Like, good shit.
Yeah.
Like, I gotta go watch Resistance
It's like a
and
bad taste in your
Yeah, I gotta go watch
I need
Resistance
some
and
champagne to wash it down.
I could watch
Quality.
the prequels happily now.
Ooh, they could have done the prequel holiday special. They got Liam Neeson and make Ewan McGregor front half.
It's just 3 hours of someone filling out.
Yeah, so
forms.
99. What band do you get in 99? You get Limp Bizkit on the Star Wars prequel. You got Fred Durst
Just
in
past it. It is a band just past their
peak.
prime by about 10 years.
Yeah, but in 99 when the prequels are coming out.
What's that?
If they'd done it in 90, if they'd done it when
if
the
they'd done
prequels
it
out,
then,
I think Bizkit would have been the shit.
Yeah, the shit, yeah. God. I guess the guitarist could fit into the
Yeah.
scenes.
They
pretty
just
well.
get a bunch of those like the dun, 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 and the guys just feel like red baseball caps on backwards and stuff. They're all just like playing with Limp Bizkit. Yeah. All right. Well, anything that you want to plug, guys?
Nah, got nothing.
No, I ain't doing anything.
No. Oh wow. You just catch you on Fortnite
Yeah, see some
Definitely.
photo. Yeah, Cam to Killer.
and the old Go to Wisdom.
Go to Wisdom
Yeah,
on every platform.
OG Go to Wisdom.
And you can catch us on Star Wars Spelt Out at all socials. Also, do a Peppa Pig podcast if you're into Peppa Pig. Don't know if you guys have been listening or not.
I have listened to a couple. Well, actually,
You've got
my
a
kids-
Peppa Pig appropriate child,
Yeah, they don't watch it.
dude. You're gonna have
I
to
gotta
just
get 'em onto
make
it.
them watch it just so I can get the sweet downloads. And so have a listen to that if you're into that. And we'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Yep.